New York, New York, December 16, 2017. News breaks of a secret Pentagon program investigating unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UFOs.
The New York Times publishes a bombshell report that details the work of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, a shadowy government group that has spent 10 years investigating military encounters with strange, unknown objects in the sky.
Here is another UFO bulletin.
For years, people have reported encounters with UFOs. Roswell, Lubbock, Belgium, the list goes on, and stretches as far back as antiquity.
Acknowledging this program's existence is huge because up to this point, the government's position has been deny, deny, deny.
And now they're not only admitting that these lights in the sky really are something, but that they are, in fact, unidentified.
It's not only massive international news, it's also vindication. Vindication for people who have seen these craft and have spent years swearing that they exist.
Perhaps none feel more vindicated than the citizens who witnessed a strange event on March 13th, 1997.
On the night of March 13th, reports come in from Phoenix, as well as California, Nevada, and New Mexico. People are describing a huge V-shaped craft moving southeast along the region.
Around sunset, a man in Henderson, Nevada, observed and reported a triangular-shaped aircraft with lights underneath it hovering over the desert.
He moves in closer to get a better look, and the object starts to move. Now, he doesn't know what he's looking at, but he does know this is not an airplane.
The sighting of the unidentified craft is quickly confirmed by others.
20 minutes later, a retired police officer calls to report that he's seeing the same object 200 miles south of Henderson.
He follows it with his car, and he's never closer to it than about a mile, and yet even from there, he can tell it's gigantic.
Reports continue to flood in at 820 Prescott Valley, 20 minutes later, downtown Phoenix.
I was kind of surprised to see it on the news, but at the same time, I was excited because I thought I would get some answers to explain the strange thing that I just seen. These were incredibly bright lights. They were completely motionless, made no sound, and these lights just hung there directly over me, and I was awestruck. I observed these lights for a period of about 30 minutes, went inside, came back out later, and 45 minutes later, this string of lights is still in the sky.
Among the eyewitnesses, Dr. Lynn Kitai.
On March 13th, 1997, the Hale-Bopp comet was in clear view on a beautiful spring night in the northwest sky. Thousands of people went outside to catch a glimpse of it. And I go outside, and suddenly I noticed 3 amber orbs. Every other light out there glared. These did not. The light did not extend outside the edge. It was self-contained. They were very soothing, very mesmerizing. And then the top orb started to shrink very, very slowly until it was pea-sized and then disappeared. But it felt like it was still there.
As Dr. Kitai watches the sky, calls pour into local police and news stations. For answers, authorities immediately reach out to Luke Air Force Base.
Luke Air Force Base is a base right in the heart of Phoenix, and they fly a lot of advanced aircraft. So obviously, if anybody knows what's going on, they would be someone you would call to find out what the heck this is. So police, reporters, and even the governor are calling the base to find out what's going on. Luke Air Force Base indicated that they had no planes up in the air at the time, and they didn't know anything about it. It was basically nothing to see here, move along.
Arizona's vast desert has been home to humans for many thousands of years. And according to some, there are signs in the archaeological record that suggest the Phoenix Lights incident is far from unique.
When you look back into the history of this region, it dawns on you that before we even had the technology where we could take pictures of this and videos and what have you, this part of the country was always having these kinds of sightings.
The Native Americans who live in this part of the southwestern United States have a very complex mythology in which we see numerous references and stories about the so-called star people. These are powerful yet benevolent beings arriving from other worlds. Both the Hopi and the Zuni trace their ancestry back to beings that they believe arrived from the region of the Pleiades, which is a star cluster about 400 light years away near the constellation of Taurus.
We see myths and legends about the star people, a benevolent but powerful people that these tribes have interacted with.
These myths and artwork suggest this area has been a hub for extraterrestrial activity, and that the Phoenix Lights incident is just part of a repeating pattern.
Thanks to new government transparency, believers are optimistic the truth will someday be known.
Now that the armed forces are more open about UFO sightings, there's renewed hope that they might come out with more information about what actually happened in Phoenix. What did they encounter in 1997? Did they actually capture it on film? As they continue to declassify these files and videos, maybe we'll find out. As congressmen, senators, and even presidents have said, the focus of their research is to determine if UFOs pose a threat to America.
Some people are curious, and then there are some people who are really scared. Is Phoenix in the crosshairs of a possible interstellar war? Well, the public would like to know that.
It's a hard thing to explain, but a lot of people who experienced this event came away feeling something, wondering if they were meant to see it, meant to feel it, meant to experience some sort of connection with what they saw. Some even described feeling calm or even being told to not be afraid.
People were in awe and in wonder, curious. So many cars pulled over to watch this amazing, extraordinary sight. In real time and in long term, it affected the experiencers very profoundly. Who are you? What are you? Do you know that I'm here? I'd love to meet you.